Ladies and gentlemen, from the Universal Church of Freedom, Peace and Justice, Deacon Gerald Celente.
Hello, this is Deacon Celente of the Universal Church of Freedom, Peace and Justice. 3 words that hardly anybody talks about, and we don't hear the other religions talking about it. Not a peep. We heard the Pope when he came out when the Ukraine war started and said this is more than just good guys versus bad guys. It's a lot more complicated than that. We heard that, but that was the end of that. He talked a little bit about peace, but none of the other religions, I don't hear them. They're not making the news. You know, they have midterm elections in the United States, and they're coming up on November 8th. And the newspapers are reporting what the candidates are discussing in their debates. Not a peep about the Ukraine war. Not a peep about the COVID war. Oh, just other stuff back and forth. War? No, doesn't matter. And most Americans, they're so in favor of, those terrible Russians, what they're doing. And they clearly forget the murderous wars committed by the United States, one after another. The Korean War, Vietnam War. Bill Clinton bombing Iraq every time he got in trouble, having extramarital affairs that he called weren't sexual. Bombs away over Baghdad, sanctions that killed over 500,000 Iraqi children under the age of 5. When Madeleine Albright, then the UN ambassador, was asked on 60 Minutes by Leslie Stahl if the price of 500,000 Iraqi children under the age of 5 was worth the sanctions, she said, yes, it was, or yes, it is. They didn't cover all of the slaughters that Americans done in these wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, in Libya and Syria. Afghanistan for over 20 years. But on Friday, this was the big front page picture in the New York Times. Yep, in times of propaganda. Ukrainians tell of torture and Russian occupation. Alexandra Avdiv watched as the body of her son, Serhiy, who was seized by Russian forces last month, was exhumed in Borova. One person. How about Fallujah, that was totally destroyed? How about Raqqa in Syria, totally destroyed? How about one city, one country after America, totally destroyed? New York Times didn't cover it day by day by day by day by day by day. Nope. But the Ukraine war, they do. And again, people don't know the facts. This is a border dispute that's been going on for over 300 years. Took down the statue of Catherine the Great because she didn't like the Ukrainians, they say. Oh, you mean this has been going on since what? That was about 1750 when she was in rule? When they just took it down now? This is a border dispute. But they're talking the border dispute, they've turned it into a world war. And as I said, and as you're hearing now from more and more people, 2 things. Elon Musk declared that World War III has started, as have others. I said it began 2 days before Russia invaded Ukraine, which we're totally against. We've gone from the COVID war to the Ukraine war to world war. And the United States keeps ramping it up. And when they don't, they're condemned. Condemned by Kyiv. Kyiv alarmed at Republican threat to curb bipartisan aid. This is from the Financial Times. this past week. Ukrainian officials have expressed shock at Republicans suggesting that assistance for Kyiv could be limited if their party wins the House of Representatives in November, this midterm election. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy said that I think people are going to be sitting in a recession and they're not going to write a blank check to Ukraine, meaning that they don't want to keep sending more money and it's going to become more difficult as economic times become more difficult. David Arakamiya, head of the Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky's party in parliament, said, quote, "We were shocked to hear these comments of Mr. McCarthy." Oleg Nikolenko of Ukraine's foreign ministry said Kyiv was counting on, quote, "continued bipartisan support." Bipartisan support. Both parties, and mostly the Democrats, supporting to send more weapons to Ukraine. In response to what Mr. McCarthy said, President Biden commented that if they win, the Republicans, they may not fund the war. Quote, "They said that if they win, they're not likely to continue to fund Ukraine. These guys don't get it. It's a lot bigger than Ukraine. It's Eastern Europe. It's NATO. It's really serious, consequential outcomes." It's Eastern Europe? What does that have to do with America? It's NATO? Why don't they make peace and not get involved in this? They're selling the same lies and hysteria they did in the Vietnam War when I was a young man. That if we didn't stop those Vietnamese by becoming communists, the dominoes will keep falling. And before you know it, it'll go from Vietnam to Laos to Cambodia, all across Asia. And then it will even hit the shores of California if we don't stop it. Same line. Same murderous war that Americans killed over 3 million Vietnamese, poisoned the country with Agent Orange as they condemn Russia for their wars. It would be like the Bloods telling the Crips how disgusting they are for being drug dealers and murderers. It's the pot calling the kettle black. And the pot, America, has a much deadlier track record around the world than Russia. Again, this is a border dispute. And out of the news is that the Ukrainians have killed over 14,000 Ukrainian sympathizers that are Russian when they separated in the Donbass region. And they're killing them now. But the New York Times doesn't put that out. It's only when Ukrainians are killed. That's bad. This has nothing to do with the United States. And this is coming from Joe Biden, who said these guys don't get it. This is a guy that got all the draft deferments that he could to avoid getting drafted in the Vietnam War. But yet he's voted for every war since. These are mentally ill people. They're psychopaths, they're sociopaths, they're pathological liars. Washington, D.C. is nothing more than an insane asylum, as with other countries that want to keep fighting and killing and not have peace. And now, on Friday, from antiwar.com, lawmakers looking to pass $50 billion in new Ukraine aid before next Congress. NBC News reported Thursday that a bipartisan idea under construction would be to pass a bill for Ukraine aid that could cover the entire year during the lame duck period. The bill is expected to be worth roughly $50 billion, which will bring the total spending on the war by the United States, you ready? For over $115 billion. How about the people that lost their homes in Florida with the hurricane? Nothing, pennies for them. People's houses are burning in forest fires. Nothing for them. All the homeless, all the hungry, nothing for them. But $115 billion to keep bloodying the killing fields, and no talk about peace. No talk about peace. Where are the Mormons? Where are the Seventh-day Adventists? Where are the Baptists, the Lutherans? What God do they believe in? Certainly not the God that the believers of the Universal Church of Freedom, Peace, and Justice believe in. Their God does not believe in war and murder. Their God believes in peace and love and liberty and life. Yep, President Biden said Thursday that he was worried a Republican majority would cut Ukraine aid. And now the White House is saying that the Iranians are involved, a small number in Crimea, helping the Russians. And that the drones that the Russians are using are coming from Iran. That's all the news. Do you think any American forces are on the ground in Ukraine? NATO forces? Other nations' forces that are against Russia? And as for Iran having drones, how about the somewhat almost $70 billion has been sent to Ukraine just by the United States, of which the majority are weapons of death? That's not reported. So now the Biden administration is looking to impose new sanctions on Tehran. And another headline in the Financial Times, U.S. Navy fears invasion before 2024. The head of the U.S. Navy has warned that the American military must be prepared for the possibility of a Chinese invasion of Taiwan before 2024. Why must the U.S. military be prepared? This is between China and Taiwan. Has been going on for centuries. America is going to bring freedom and democracy there, like they did to Afghanistan, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Chile, Iraq, Libya, Syria, Yemen. The buildings stood World War III. And as I warned, will be annihilated in a nuclear war. This is a headline story this past Thursday in Business Insider. How to survive a nuclear bomb attack. Minute by minute steps to protect yourself. This is pure idiocy. The mayor of New York City ran an ad similar to this several months ago. Duck and cover. Duck and cover. Duck and cover. Back when I was a kid, they used to run duck and cover commercials. Fear, selling fear and stupidity, that duck and cover is going to save you from a nuclear explosion. It will annihilate the earth. There won't be one bomb. It'll be massive, thousands. No one will be safe. Duck and cover? Here, listen to this commercial that they ran back in the 1950s when they had everybody fearful about the atomic bomb and selling more hate against Russia. And again, the stupidity of it is clear. They even tell you to follow the orders and the ways of Bert the Turtle. Here it is.
He did what we all must learn to do. You and you and you and you. Duck and cover.
Be sure and remember what Bert the Turtle just did, friends, because every one of us must remember to do the same thing. That's what this film is all about. Duck and cover. This is an official civil defense film produced in cooperation with the Federal Civil Defense Administration and in consultation with the Safety Commission of the National Education Association. Produced by Archer Productions, Incorporated. Hey, Bert, come on out and meet all these nice people, please. Oh, all right. We really can't blame you. You see, Bert is a very, very careful fellow. When there's danger, this is the way he keeps from being hurt. Sometimes it even saves his life. That's why these children are practicing to duck and cover just as you do in your school. We all know the atomic bomb is very dangerous. Since it may be used against us, we must get ready for it, just as we are ready for many other dangers that are around us all the time.
So there you got it. Duck and cover. Look at this stupidity. It equals the stupidity of how they made you stand 6 feet apart. Or if you're from another country, 1.5 meters when they fought the COVID war. When you're in an airplane, you have to wear your mask, but you could take it off when you're eating or drinking. The stupidity of that is equal to the duck and cover stupidity that they are now doing again, and that the people embraced before, are embracing now, and just as the people did what they were told to stand 6 feet apart. The wind only blows in 6 feet increments, doesn't go up, doesn't go down, doesn't go around. And when you go into a store, they have the arrows in which aisle to go up and which aisle to go down. Stupid, moronic, imbecilic, demonic, to control people. And the people followed the orders. When you went into a restaurant, you had to wear a mask. But when you sit down to eat, you could take it off. Why? Because the COVID doesn't go at table height? And putting tables 6 feet apart? Can't sit at the bar? They're doing the same moronic, imbecilic things with duck and cover. No different. How to survive a nuclear bomb attack. They're normalizing nuclear war. That's when you know it's coming. And the media, it's not news what they give you. It's not journalism. The facts are here. This is a story from Thursday, New York Times, about Fox News being sued. And they mention the woman that's in charge of Fox News. Her name is Scott Suzanne Scott. Ms. Scott took over the top job at Fox News in 2018. Her colleagues said she has managed from behind the scenes with a simple mantra: respect Fox's audience. Often, that involves sparing conservative viewers what they don't want to hear. Oh, conservative viewers sparing what they don't want to hear? That's not journalism. That's propaganda. And it's one station after another. They all have their audiences. The audience is the heart, the soul, and the mind, not a narrow belief system. This isn't news. It's not journalism. These are sitcoms that people call news. And one of the sitcom artists was someone by the name of Chris Cuomo on CNN. And he was fired because of his relationship with his brother Andy Cuomo and how they were skewing the news and on, and accused of this and that. And now he's with another network. And he was being interviewed. He was interviewing Kanye West, who was against what's going on in a number of areas. And Kanye, calls himself Ye now, asked Cuomo, "Did you work out this morning?" He said this after suggesting that Kanye's recent statements were proof that he was mentally unwell. So this former host of CNN, the Cartoon News Network, said, quote, "No, but I took my medicine. I took my antidepressant medication that I take every day." Antidepressant medication. He is mentally ill, as are most of them. They are drugged out. There's an article on Dr. Joseph Mercola's website, "Why You're Being Lied to About Antidepressants. Thanks to ruthless marketing by Big Pharma, between 85% and 90% of the public believe low serotonin levels cause depression. But do the data support it? Do antidepressants really provide lasting relief? Here's what the industry desperately doesn't want you to know." So there you have it. As I said, whether it's the government, whether it's the media, it's one club, and they're mentally ill. By their words and their deeds, you shall know them. So please do what you can, anything you can, to promote peace. You better do something, because we're going to die in war, nuclear war. And duck and cover is not going to help you. So please donate to freedompeacejustice.com, freedompeacejustice.com. Give what you can, do what you can. And if you can't donate, do what you can to help others and spread the word of peace. Thank you. Amen and amen.
Here's Tony going to his Cub Scout meeting. Tony knows the bomb can explode any time of the year, day or night. He is ready for it. Duck and cover. Attaboy, Tony. That flash means act fast. Tony knows that it helps to get to any kind of cover. We must know how to duck and cover in the school bus or in any other bus or streetcar. Duck and cover. Don't wait. Duck away from the windows fast. The glass may break and fly through the air and cut you. First, you have to know what happens when an atomic bomb explodes. You will know when it comes. We hope it never comes, but we must get ready. It looks something like this. There is a bright flash, brighter than the sun, brighter than anything you've ever seen. If you are not ready and did not know what to do, it could hurt you in different ways. It could knock you down hard or throw you against a tree or a wall. It is such a big explosion, it can smash in buildings, knock signboards over, and break windows all over town. But if you duck and cover like Bert, you will be much safer. You know how bad sunburn can feel. The atomic bomb flash could burn you worse than a terrible sunburn, especially where you're not covered.
Remember what to do, friends. Now tell me right out loud. What are you supposed to do when you see the flash?